What was that one wow aha moment like for you?
Before my first match, it was in Grand Palais. It's one of the most beautiful places at the Olympics. I think almost 4,000 people on the right side and 4,000 people on the left side. And
Wow.
I went in, I say, wow. It was one of the best moments in the Olympics. And I could tell myself, come on, you did it.
Welcome to the Champion This podcast with Brianna Salvatore, Dueck, and Chelsea Poppens, where we share the incredible stories of athletes and entertainers who are using their platforms to create positive change in the world and the communities they live in.
Ooh, and today we're honored to welcome Kasra Mehdipournejad. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go. And he's a professional Taekwondo athlete, a member of the 2024 Paris Olympic Refugee Team. He went from fleeing Iran in 2017, seeking asylum in Germany, to becoming the flag bearer of the Olympic Refugee Team at the Paris 2024 Olympics closing ceremonies. Kasra's journey is a testament to the resilience and determination with gold medals at the Dutch and Belgium Opens in 2018 and podium finishes in 2019. He's an absolute force in the Taekwondo world alongside his wonderful wife. I should have asked your wife's name, but is it Parisa Farshidi?
Parisa Farshidi, right.
There, I got close.
That's easier than mine.
Yeah. She's also a Taekwondo champion herself, and she continues to support Kasra and inspire others in their advocate for human rights and freedom in Iran. So welcome to the show. I know that was a mouthful.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. And I'm so happy to share my experience and my journey to the Olympics with you and with the people who gonna hear my voice.
Yeah, no, it's so great to have you here. I think to start off the podcast, we'd love to dive into your background as a professional Taekwondo athlete. You know, you've reached the pinnacle of this sport, competing in the 2024 Olympics as part of the Olympic Refugee Team. But would like to just kind of take it back to when you decided to start pursuing Taekwondo and what kind of made you fall in love with the sport.
Yeah, it's a very nice question because a lot of people they ask me, so how did I start Taekwondo? What happened? And then always they remind me a very nice thing. So in the beginning, it was only something to cover my free time and as a hobby or something like that. I remember I was at the school and my schoolmate asked me to join him for his sparring. He was doing Taekwondo, and yeah, I accepted. And then after a few hours after the school, I went there and I just watched his sparring and the Taekwondo session, and then immediately after like few minutes when he started the sparring, something comes up in myself, and so I could feel something. And then I talked to my parents, I talked to my mom actually in the beginning, and they say, look, I found something very special. I'm going to practice in Taekwondo. So yeah, she said no, but
Oh, she said no.
I was pushed a lot, and then finally I could win the game. And then after a few days, yeah, we went there with my mom, and then she was talking to my first Taekwondo master. Then yeah, I start my journey. I remember it was in 2008, the Olympic Games. So our one of our greatest athletes in the Olympic history, I think the greatest athlete, he's Taekwondo athlete, so former Taekwondo athlete. He was competing at 2008 Olympics and he won gold medal. And I remember it when you ask people, I think all the people in Iran, they know him and they know that game because the final match was against Italy, and then the opponent was very tall, so extreme taller than him, but he could win. And so after that, it was the beginning of my Olympic dreams.
Kasra, you mentioned as well in our prep call that something like in Iran, Taekwondo is like the equivalent of NBA basketball. It is very well known, well practiced. I think for a lot of Americans, which is a good amount of our listeners, the sport is a little bit newer, but like, I think that helps bring context to you seeing this Taekwondo champion, how he was able to inspire you, and now you kind of getting to do that as well is really cool.
Yeah, as you said, Taekwondo is, I would say, there is three sports in Iran, and so all the Olympic medals, not all definitely, but all the Olympics, like all the time, we can count on them to have a medal from the Olympic Games. Taekwondo, wrestling, and weightlifting. So I think Taekwondo. I'm not sure about other sports
Hmm.
because in other sport like wrestling, the north of Iran, they are very very like strong in this sport. And but Taekwondo is, it doesn't matter from which city you are. So in every city you can go, at least my friend always, he has very funny example. He said Taekwondo in Iran is very difficult because if you go just by random knock the door, they have a professional Taekwondo athlete at home. So it doesn't matter which city, which place. So it seems like that. And yeah, Taekwondo is one of the biggest sports in Iran, in top three. So at these Olympic Games in Paris, Iran had four medals, so four
Wow.
finalists from four. So they had only four athletes qualified, two female, two males, and all of them they won. So one gold, two silver, one bronze. I think it's one of the best results Iran Taekwondo team ever had.
Hmm. That's crazy to think about because obviously here in the United States, like I don't know anybody who does taekwondo,
Oh, really?
but
But you have very good team. Actually, USA Taekwondo team is like one of the best in the world.
it may be because I'm from Iowa and that's not Iowa's kind of the middle of nowhere. But same for basketball here. You can knock on a door and any
Oh
kid
yeah.
will be playing basketball. So that's really cool. A good cultural like perspective on like who is good at what and what is kind of like the cultural norm.
True. Yeah, but because basketball is very huge, and there is nothing to push it on the side.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, in Iran is, yeah, of course, football. So I think you call it soccer. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
in Iran they say football. Yeah, so
Yeah.
and
Totally.
yeah, it's the biggest sport, but everywhere is the big. So, but in US, I think there is no sport that strong to push the basketball on the side. So actually, I'm also a fan of basketball. I really love it, and I think I heard from one of the physical coach. He says the NBA is the most professional premium league or something in the world in all those sports. So I'm not
Hmm.
sure it's correct or not, but in my opinion, this is correct. It's the most professional sport, and atmosphere is definitely NBA.
It does take it to a different level just coming from us or I won't speak for Bree, but playing overseas and experiencing different leagues around the world. It is different for sure. But we need to bring that back to you and your
Okay.
taekwondo.
Yeah, I think kind of moving along a little bit too in your story, Kesra. You moved to Germany, I want to say in 2016, is that correct?
17, the end of 2000, November 2017.
Yeah,
A
so
year after.
2017. Okay.
Right.
So yeah, like what can you kind of share a little bit about that journey, moving to Germany and what that experience was like? First, I guess, why did you move to Germany? And then talk to us about like what it was like to be in a new country and to really kind of find your place in Germany.
Of course, migration and move to other places is not easy for everyone. But for me, was more challenge, was more difficult because I was not ready for that. So it was not planned.
Mm.
So I just come to Germany with like very short visa, like for 2 weeks or something like that. I don't remember exactly for how long. So I had a return flight. So, and I was just here for a few days. I packed my sports equipment and some stuff and a little bit money in my pocket.
And you
Then
originally had come over for like a sports tournament. It was for a
exactly,
Taekwondo tournament.
yeah, it
Yes.
was for a
Okay.
training camp, and like it's like a sport journey.
Mm.
And then uh, so then something happened in Iran. So it would be nice if I could tell you and like open it more, but as my parents and families, they are in Iran, I really need to protect them.
Of
So
course.
anyway, to make the long story short, then I decided to stay in Germany. Do like my mom also was really was really worried about me, and then she was pushing that I make that decision to stay here. It was not easy. I was really confused. I didn't know what I have to do. So then finally I decided to stay in Germany, because I remember my mom always was telling me that at least maybe I'm not going to see you as soon, but at least I'm sure that you are safe. So, and it was right. So the
Mm-hmm.
biggest thing I had, it was safety and freedom. And
Mm-hmm.
at the moment when I like look at my past, of course it was not easy, but I think it was necessary. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it was in November 2017. uh, Very dark, very cold. I wouldn't say it was bad or no, I just was different than what I had.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, everything was new: culture, people, language, everything, and I had no idea what's going on. So when you plan already to move somewhere, you prepare yourself.
Mm-hmm.
At least you try to update yourself in advance. But for me, it was not possible. So then, yeah, the biggest challenge was weather in the few at the in the beginning. So in the few weeks, and then
Mm-hmm.
I remember I told myself, come on, it getting darker and darker and darker all the time, you know. And so I would also say that the biggest difference in my culture I could feel in the beginning, it was because we stay with our parents. So
Mm-hmm.
till we get married. So we stay at home with family, brothers, sisters, or parents, and whenever we get married, then we go out. So for me, it was difficult to wake up every day and
Yeah.
no family over there. So it was the biggest challenge. And then, so of course, lost friends, connections. There is no one on your side, and uh, yeah, many things. But the biggest was those one. But
Mm-hmm.
Taekwondo was very, uh, I would say, Taekwondo helped me to return to normal life in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, and then
Was it kind of like your grounding force, like
yeah,
the constant in your life at that time during like a
oh yeah,
challenging
I
time?
think without Taekwondo I couldn't survive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So because I could find I would say new family, a
Mm-hmm.
new community, some friends, and then after that I could realize, okay, so now it's the time to continue your career as a professional athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how did
Yeah.
you, when you were in Germany and you're kind of finding your place, how did you find your Taekwondo coach? How did you find that Taekwondo community? Did you have like a coach in Iran that put you in contact with someone in Germany, or yeah, what did that look like for you?
Oh yeah, absolutely not. No connection from my Iranian coach to to who can make a connection. But
Okay.
yeah, after when I decided to stay in Germany, it was also a big challenge, because uh, I couldn't find a right place to continue my training. So yeah, as I said, Taekwondo in Iran is one of the biggest sports. So you can have many training partners, many different coaches, and all of them they can be successful. So different method, of course, but so in Berlin for me was challenge, because I tried some clubs to find a good one, and then I remember in the beginning I was take all my equipments and like take from the uniform and everything, and then I went in like first club I was tried, and then I shocked. I said, "Oh my God, I think I'm wrong. It's
Oh
not for
no.
it's for something else," because um, it was a place for training, but not for martial arts. So
Mm.
in whole my life, I've never seen a taekwondo club without taekwondo mat.
They catfished you. They lied.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's not good or that. Just for me, was new, was really new.
Mm.
So I've never seen something like that. It was very nice, and then I asked them, like, I'm a new athlete. I couldn't even speak very well, and then I say, yeah, you can training, but we don't have. So because they asked me in about my level and how I did taekwondo, and then they say first taekwondo club told me, the coach told me, I think it's not a good place for you. So because here just we have some like athletes who can only do pumse, like kata or something like that. We don't have like sparring partner. We don't do any sparring here. And then he gave
Wow.
me some address.
They're like, you're expert level, you're beyond our.
Yeah. And then in that time, because taekwondo uniform is white, so
Mhm.
that, but we do have the color uniform, like the blue one and the red one. For like it started. So the World Taekwondo created for the World Cup championships, like team competition. And then I had one. It was red, and then I could feel the other athletes. They saw me like, who is this guy with the red uniform? And then
Oh yeah,
it was very funny. Yeah.
they're like, he came to kick our asses. Like they're.
Yeah.
No, they've never seen the red uniform, the guy. And then the master, he gave me the address. He says there they have more athletes. They are very very active in competitions and tournaments. So I went there a day after. No, at the same day. It was like maybe half an hour. I had only half an hour. Just immediately I moved, and then I just asked. He was so he's my taekwondo coach, first taekwondo coach in Germany, Sven. And then I asked him in the beginning, say, look, I'm from Iran. It's my background, and I need to training. And immediately he said, yeah, just go and change and come back. Then even in the beginning, he didn't know my name. He just stopped the training, say, look, this guy comes today, and uh, yeah, just help him. And then
Mm.
I could see some athletes from they were Iranian who born in Germany. So then when they asked me where I'm from, I said I'm from Iran. They started to speak Persian, and then for me it was like a huge gift. It turned me on, like it was the best feeling I could have, because so before that it was nobody to talk with him, and then it was some athletes from Afghanistan and from Iran. I could communicate with them in my mother language. Then we started training, and he says, "Yep, you're welcome." And yeah, I stayed there. And then I remember after 2 weeks, I think it was the first competition we did together. It was the international tournament in Germany, and yeah, even from the beginning, he started to support me. Of course, the budget of the club was not that huge, but he did everything for me, and I'm really appreciated.
That's amazing that you were able to find community through your sport. I think that even Brian, that's how Brie and I met in Switzerland. Like she was playing on a different team and I was playing on a team, and we were like the only Americans on our team, and we're like, hey, like good to find like our people, our community. Like the power of sport to bring people together and to unite people, especially like
Mhm.
in that time of your life where you were like looking for that community,
Exactly.
because you didn't stay at that training club, did you? Like you ended up finding a different one that would
No, no,
eventually elevate your game, or is that the one that you would travel to?
no. I'm still there. So this is, I would say, it's my home. But for the Olympics, for the Tokyo qualification, I
Mm,
had to move to the south because it's like a professional uh, training club
mm,
or sport team, I would say. So because in Berlin I had not many training partners. All of my training partners, they stopped already taekwondo, and yeah. So then with my coach, with Sven, we decided that it's better for me to move there. Then I
mm,
found another coach, and he was my coach at the Olympics, Marcus. I was very like I would say I was very lucky because I had two amazing taekwondo coach in Germany. In the beginning, Sven was on my side to support me to find myself, and then after that, Marcus was also helping me uh, to be on the spot, actually, to be in a very good shape for the international tournament, World Championships, Olympic qualification, and finally at the Olympics. So both of them, they did everything.
that's awesome.
Totally. I was going to also say too, it was during this period where you met your wife, or I should say, started to pursue your wife because you had known her before. But Parisa, like we mentioned, she's a two-time champion of the Asia World Championships for Taekwondo, absolute boss. So, how did you guys meet, and how did you kind of win her over as your wife? While living in Germany.
Uh, First when I saw her, it was in 2010. It was Asian Games in China, I think. Yeah, she won silver medal at the Asian Games. So first I saw my wife on TV, on the Iranian national television, and yeah, maybe the the dating process started from that time.
I love it.
Then we had some connection when I was in Iran, and then I moved to Germany for a while. We stopped the contact, and then after that again, uh, we start to communicate more. And it was in 2019, the middle of 2019, a few months before the COVID pandemic, she could join me. And yeah, I was very lucky because it could take maybe 2-3 years after because of the pandemic. So it was not possible minimum for 2 years. So we were very lucky, and I'm really appreciate it. So
It's really good you started the dating process back in 2000
exactly, we started
2010,
in
yeah.
or
2000.
2010.
No, in Iran it was easier because like we were not that far. But again, when I was in Germany and we started to to be in the relationship, I would say even more serious, was not easy because I was in Germany, so far from home, and then she was in Iran, and also was the third place, the third country also was not easy to be there for me because of the visa issues or something, and for her also was not easy to come to have a visa and come to the Europe. So yeah, but we did several times in Azerbaijan. I could
Yeah,
meet
you
her.
had dates, right? Kasra, you were
Yeah,
telling
many
me
times.
you would literally fly to Azerbaijan for like 24 hours just to go on a date with your
Yes.
wife.
That's
So,
dedication.
like there is a few times we did it, but because I had also a very good friend in Azerbaijan, he was also a taekwondo athlete. So he was originally from Iran, but he was competing for Azerbaijan, and
Okay.
I could be there for training, and but the reason was something else, So
Training.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
And then I remember once she couldn't join me because of work or something. She was very busy, and then the the flight from Tehran, the capital, to Baku is not that far, like 45 minutes. So then we decided that Parisa comes from like in the morning, like 9 or 10 o'clock. Then we can be together till evening. Then evening she can go back. So we did it. So, but in another country. So
The
it was
things we
very nice.
do for love. That's
Yeah, and
amazing.
now I think when I take a look at it, I think we have very nice story at least
Yeah,
to tell maybe
it's
my
beautiful.
our kids in the future.
Mm. And so, how long into your relationship did she move to Germany?
It was almost 1.5 year. Then she could move to Germany. So we were in the long distance relationship
Hmm.
for almost 1.5 year. So before we were also in touch, but not that serious. So
Hmm.
then in 2018, I would say, the beginning 2018 till 2019, in I think the May, I think. Yeah, so
Hmm.
almost 1.5 year. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's been, I mean, we mentioned powerhouse woman, won so many medals. But also, like, as you have pursued your Olympic dreams, I know she's been a huge champion of you. And it sounds like you two are such a strong team. Would love to talk now, switch gears a little bit and talk about your experience in Paris in 2024. Would love to hear about your training leading up to that. And I know you had some challenges. I think in 2020, you were also aiming to go to the Olympics as well, but like just barely fell short and were able to kind of make that in 2024. How did you rethink your approach to training for the Olympics, and what really helped you to kind of make that dream a reality and make the Olympic team?
Yeah, as you said, in 2020 for Tokyo, I couldn't make it. But before, because the pandemic started and it was a really strong lockdown in Germany, so I couldn't continue my training. But I was lucky because at least Parisa could help me for my training. But anyway, it was not easy. So for Tokyo it was not possible. I was not. Of course, I was not in a good shape. But anyway, it was not possible, and I couldn't make it. And then after that, I wanted really to stop my career. And then, my coach, Parisa, and also the International Olympic Committee, they pushed me to continue because I remember when I talked to our manager from the Refugee Olympic team, he told me, "No, you can do it for Paris and go for it. We support you." And for me, it was really huge motivation from from different sides, from my wife, from my coaches, and from the International Olympic Committee. And then I could find myself in a very professional situation. So I have many people on the side who can support me. And then I was continue for the Paris 2024, and the qualification was in Sofia a few months ago. It didn't good. I think it was not very good for me because it was not a good day. So I could make it, but anyway, it done. And then it comes to the decision from the International Olympic Committee. So the selection was a few weeks after the qualification in Sofia, and exactly a few weeks before the Olympic qualification, another athlete in my weight class category, he joined the refugee program. So he just recognized. So his refugee status was recognized a few weeks before the Olympic qualification, and we were both in the same category. And he's a very good athlete, amazing athlete. He's from Afghanistan, based in GB. So for me, the situation was more difficult because we were at in the same category. So, and he was very in the good position. I think in the Olympic ranking and world ranking, he was a little bit better than me. So, but because of my achievements in international level, so the IOC select me in the heavyweight. So then it was, for me, it was very nice because we could have a good athlete in -80 who really deserve it, and I could be at the Olympics. Of course, was not easy in the heavyweight, but still I was very happy and I was really appreciated. So the challenge started, and I had to gain weight, but was not possible
Right,
because
because
I was
let me give the listeners some context. So you're
He
typically competing in the 82 kilogram below weight
no
yeah,
class,
-80. So my
minus
normal weight
80,
is
the
almost 80.
lower weight class.
the
Yeah.
lower weight class. And then the new weight class that you're competing in is above 80 kilograms. But that could be someone who has like 110 kilograms. So like, or yeah,
Most of
we
Our
use
them
the other.
metrics.
more than
Yeah,
100.
sorry if my numbers are wrong. We use pounds.
Anyway, they're heavy.
There's some
Big
big
Yeah,
big
men that you're.
dudes.
yeah, very tall and very, because there is no limit. So you can be 81 or you can be 121. So doesn't matter.
I also like how you say the challenges started, as if the whole training up to the Olympics wasn't already a challenge.
Yeah, it was already a challenge and it comes on top. So, but I had in the beginning, even I had a good feeling because uh, I always talk to my coach, and he reminds me all the time that, okay, so you are faster. You're faster, you're more explosive, and you can make it. But don't think about the result. Just think about the good performance and be in a good shape.
Let's talk about that some more, though, like dig a little deeper, because how has that experience competing outside of your weight class and competing in a different bracket that's like a little bit heavier, a little bit more challenging, how has that changed your mindset as an athlete and your approach to the competition? Like how do you define yourself now versus who you used to be before you were
Hmm.
set
So,
this challenge?
uh, you know, I had to change some strategies because yeah, in -80 for me it's easier to handle because the power is, if I'm not stronger, at least the power is same. But yeah, I'm even in -80, I'm one of the I wouldn't say the shortest one, but usually my opponent, even in -80, they are taller than me. So then in plus weight, of course, extreme tall, so and heavy. So that because the biggest challenge is to be ready to cover it, to actually to feel the power because they're really strong. So, and I had in our training, I had no heavyweight. So, like, I mean, the partner. So I was always worried about it. That okay, I need someone who is really heavy because I need to try because I didn't used to do that. So, and even when we were at the Olympic Village, uh, my coach he was asked the former Olympic silver medalist. I think he won the silver medal in Rio 2016 in heavyweight from Niger, and he was training with us in the south of Germany. And now he moved to US a few months or maybe a year ago. But anyway, so still we have like relationship, friendship, and specific to my coach. And then my coach asked him, Marcus asked Razak if we can have like a sparring session just a few days before the Olympic match, because I really asked my coach, I need someone to feel it. He said, okay, I'm going to ask Razak. Then training started with Razak, and he's almost, I think, 2 meter and 10 or something like that, 8 or maybe a little bit less, a bit more. And of course, more than 100 kilo. And when we start to kick a little bit, I told myself, come on, it's not possible. It's really it's not possible because it was very heavy and you had no chance. When when he was kick like the push kick, uh, okay, so in Taekwondo it's very normal for all the athletes when someone do push kick, you can block with your knee or with your leg. For me, it was not possible because his push kick was exactly on my head or something. And then in that time I realized, okay, so I have to be uh, I don't need to give them the opportunity to kick me.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's done. So
Use
I
your
have
speed
Mm,
against them.
exactly. My
yeah,
coach always telling me you should be like a mosquito, just go in, comes out, and yeah, don't give them the opportunity to kick you because they are heavier and they can get the
yeah,
point very easy. So we did
totally.
our best with training in this strategy to be as much as possible explosive, fast, and
Mm,
for sure good conditioning
yeah.
system. I
I'm
was in
curious,
good for
totally. And Kasra, I was curious too, like, so you make it to the Olympics. This is, I'm sure, a dream come true for you. You're one of 37 other refugee athletes competing at the Olympic stage. Was there one moment for you that was just like, wow, I made it. I am here. Was it maybe walking out or being on the boat on the Seine in Paris? Was it when you walked out for that first competition? What was that one wow aha moment like for you?
I have the screen record from that time. I think it was the biggest time that I really told myself. Even I thought I couldn't realize that the camera was on me because not I was not nervous, not because of the stress or something, just because of uh, I was very emotional and very excited.
Hmm.
And when I came in before my first match, so it was in Grand Palais. It's one of the most beautiful place at the Olympics. And then was I think almost 4,000 people on the right side and 4,000 people on the left side, and
Wow.
I couldn't hear anything. Even before the match, they told us that uh, before you go in, fix everything with your coach because you are not going to hear something. It's not possible. And then when I went in, so we were behind the door or behind the place. So then was a woman with a tablet and with headset. So before they told me that you cannot hear, she just counts with the finger and then you can go in. And then I could hear someone was telling the in the red or blue logo, representing Refugee Olympic Team, and then I went in. Immediately when I went in, I say, "Wow," because really the atmosphere was very beautiful and very like exciting. And then it was one of the best moments in the Olympics.
Mm.
I could feel everything, and I could tell myself, "Come on, you did it." And of course, when I had the flag and when I was a flag carrier, in the end, like the closing ceremony.
Oh yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
many
because
many situations, but those both was like very unique.
hmm What was the experience like in the Olympic Village? Were you able to meet a bunch of well-renowned athletes that you had been watching on TV for a while, or what was it like to meet some of them?
Yeah, I couldn't believe in the beginning. Like we went because we arrived, I think, in the morning, like around afternoon. So then we decided to have a very short workout in the fitness training center. It was very huge training center, for amazing facilities, and then all the Olympic athletes they were training over there, many Olympic champions, and yeah, it was in the afternoon, and was the beginning was not that busy, but anyway, there were many athletes, and so my coach was already 7 times at the Olympics, so 6 times, and the Paris was the seventh. And then we went in. I say, look at them. They were really, some of them they were like monsters. They were
yeah.
like big, and wow, you could see they are really champions. And then I was, I wouldn't say shocked, but I was enjoying every moment. So in this atmosphere, and then I remember I was we were eating something, and then I just wanted to grab some. I don't remember, maybe some bread or something, and
One
then
of the classic chocolate chip muffins that blew up on TikTok.
maybe, yeah.
Everyone was eating talking about these muffins.
Yeah, usually I took them from the cafe place, but but anyway, you could find everywhere. And then, yeah, just turn my head to the right side. I saw the Olympic champion and world champion from Jamaica, the female athlete in the track and field. So I always, yeah, I would say I was follow her on social media because she was very like a great athlete. And then in 100 meters and 200, I think. And
Mm.
then she was at the right side, and then it was very nice moment. I could see a great athlete, not only her many, and for me it was very nice experience. I could enjoy every moment. Yeah.
So cool. That's amazing. Being a part of the Olympic refugee team, like how close did you get to your teammates? Was there a lot of camaraderie between you supporting one another, going to one another's matches, and also like you are also representing more than just your sport, right? I think you had mentioned this to me, Kasra, but there are 100 million refugees in the
Mhm.
world today. Is that correct? Around
Correct.
that number? Yeah. And so also I think being, you know, members of this team, like you're competing for yourself, but also to bring visibility to a lot of the injustices around the world collectively as a group. But yeah, like what was your relationship like with your teammates and that whole experience?
Um, because a few days before the um, Olympic Games, before 20, because the opening ceremony was on 26th July. So I think from 17 to 19, we were in Bayeux, the north of France. All the team, we went there to just to get know each other
Hmm.
and to become like an official team. So was one of the best trip ever I had. It was in Bayeux. So we had many plans. IOC organized in the best way possible, really in the best way possible. We could feel that, come on, everything is prepared for us. And we were so happy to meet each other, to see different athletes from different countries, different backgrounds. And every athlete has a story, a
Mm.
nice story, a long journey. And for me, it was very nice to meet my teammates, to hear their voice, to talk to them about their background, how they come here, and all of them, they could motivate me, and it was for me also, and for all of us, a huge motivation to represent all the refugee people in around the world, more than 100 millions. So the biggest message we could have for them, it's like, look, we did it, and
Mm.
you can also achieve your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest motivation for all of us was representing the refugee nation,
Mm.
and it could it could really make us feel amazing. I'm very happy to represent the refugee nation.
Mm.
Mhm.
You did a great job of it.
Thank you.
Kind of bringing it to that platform of you guys representing the Olympic team. What ways do you want to use your platform to raise awareness about the refugee crisis and the role of sports in creating opportunities for displaced individuals?
Uh, of course, there is many things we would like to talk about, because all of us, we forced to be a refugee because of many different reasons. So someone of us because of the political reason, because of war or whatever, doesn't matter. But uh, yeah, of course we would like to be also a voice for our people.
Mm.
Like myself, I really need to be a voice for Iranian people
Mm.
who fight bravely against Islamic regime. But also for me, it's very nice and it's a responsibility to be a voice for all refugees, because of course many refugees in around the world, they are in really really sensitive moments, very difficult life, no access to many things, the basic things, food, accommodation, medical facilities, or education, many things. So our flag bearer in the opening ceremony, Yahya, he's a refugee from Syria. He moved to Jordan, and as I understood, he was growing up in a refugee camp. So for me, it's like a tragedy. I
Mm.
can't even understand how the situation difficult, and not only for me, for all my teammates,
Mm.
because for example, Yahya for us was a symbol of hope,
Mm.
who escaped the country when he was, I think, almost 10.
Wow. Just a
Be a
kid.
refugee camp, exactly, be in the refugee camp for many years, almost 10 years, and now he's around 20 or something, and he's our flag bearer. We were
Yeah.
really proud of him, and he could motivate us. And he's a symbol of hope for me. We were training together all the time, and sometimes he was tired, and then I just take his hand and then like help him to stand up. I say, come on, you
Yes.
have to do it again. And when, you
Yes.
know our situation of course was not like others,
Mm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know because so imagine you have to compete in many different competitions in your life.
Yeah.
And when I say competition, really it's the competition to survive.
Mm.
Not of course all the people, they have challenges, they have difficulties, but refugee athletes, they have something on top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they escape they leave the country, they forced to move somewhere else. And somebody like Yahya, who was in the refugee camp for many years, and now he's at the Olympics and his dream comes true. So
Mm.
the beautiful thing was to see him, or to see all of us in this position. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, we would like to show all the refugees in the world that we did it and you can do it. Not
Yeah.
only for the Olympic journey, maybe many of them, they have another dreams, but anyway, just tell them, never forget your dream, fight for it. Finally, your dream comes reality.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. And all of you are obviously truly inspiring, because normal athletes, they just wake up, they work out, they compete, and they go home. And you guys have so many challenges, not just like from fleeing your countries, but also like I think you spoke about Parisa living in Berlin while you traveled 8 hours to southern Germany to go to
Mm.
your facility, and you're there Monday to Friday training, and then you have to find time for your relationship. Talk to us a little bit about like that, what how
Yeah.
that effect of on your relationship, and like how that affects you personally, but also like as an athlete, and then being able to compete at that level.
Mm. You know, of course, it was a huge challenge. So, but we did. Now when I see, I say, okay, we did everything. Everything was possible. Even when everything was not possible, we did it. But something has really negative impact on my soul and on my wife. So something like that, because it was a long way, 8 to 12 hours. It depends on the traffic or train or whatever. So it was not the short way. And then we decided to be there. I have to be there from Monday to Friday for training. Then Friday come back to visit my wife because she couldn't be on the way for 10, 12 hours. And
Mhm.
also my facilities over there was very limited, so she couldn't be with me because she had many things to do in Berlin. So it was not possible. The best way and the only possibility was that, okay, I moved, and then on Friday, I come back on Friday, and then again I go back on Sunday.
And you mentioned that you were working when you came back to Berlin, right?
Yeah, yeah. So when I came back on Friday in the evening, because sometimes even we had like a competition and tournament on the weekend, so even I couldn't come back for 2, 3 weekend. So
Mhm.
then I remember once I was in the competition, and then I say, okay, this weekend I cannot be there. I talked to Parisa and I talked to the place I worked, and then I say, okay, next weekend. Then I came on Friday evening, I think around uh, 10 p.m. I take the bus, come to Berlin, and then I was in Berlin like let's say at 9 or 10 o'clock. It was very long, and then immediately I went to work because I had to make also a little bit money, so to make it easier. Of course, I had my scholarship; it was very useful, but in this moment, I had to cover many things. So, but then I went to work, then again come back to home, spend almost one day with Parisa, again go back to the south for training. So it was nothing to like hurt me. It was just made me stronger, and I was working very hard to survive and to achieve my dream. But anyway, I think for my wife was very difficult to be alone, and because also her family they are in Iran, and for her it's also very difficult to sleep alone, wake up alone or for the long time. But anyway, past is past,
Yeah.
and finally at the Olympics we had something that we could say, okay,
Yeah.
we did it.
That's
Yes.
love.
I
That's
Yeah,
love
love.
it. Yeah. What a power team. Another thing, Kasra, I know you're really passionate about being Iranian is really freedom for the Iranian people. And Iran, since 1979, has been under the rule of the Islamic regime, which is extremely oppressive and authoritarian. Can you talk to us about some of your advocacy work or even the hopes for your people and how you and Parisa, talking about an amazing team, how you two have really been able to champion that freedom for Iranian people?
of course, that's a very good question and conversation, because so you made me very happy because you said under the like Islamic regime, so you made it separate already, Iran and Islamic regime. The only thing
Yes.
I would always try to make the people understand, it's like Iran has nothing to do with Islamic regime and
Hmm.
opposite. So whatever you see, it's happening in Iran and it's happening is from the Islamic regime.
Hmm.
Iran is something beautiful like saffron, culture, history,
Yes.
Shah or whatever. So, but
Poetry, all the
yeah,
things. Yes.
Islamic regime has nothing to do with all of them.
Hmm.
And yeah, the fighting for freedom is continuous for 40 some years, but specific in last three, I would say 3 4 years after the woman life freedom activity, and then finally it becomes a revolution. I would say national revolution. I think it waked many Iranians up. So even for someone who was uh, against Islamic regime uh, from from the inside, from the heart, but was not active, it could make the people very active for freedom. And for us also was same. So in the beginning we were only focused on the on our fighting, and we were very active on social media because in the beginning of the revolution Islamic regime was shut the internet down, and people they couldn't have access to the internet. And we were like, I mean, we the Iranian diaspora were the only possibility to be a voice for the Iranian people.
Right.
And
And the diaspora is not small either. I was looking it up. There are 4 million Iranians living outside of Iran today. And
exactly.
in the US, there's a very, very strong Iranian American population as well.
True.
Mm-hmm.
In Germany as well. So we have a
Yeah.
very Iranian community, and yeah, for us also was same. We decided to be really 100% on the side of Iranian people.
Mm,
Then after that, even now, the protest uh, is not that big like before, but it comes again for sure because it's
mm,
like as at the moment we have like a strike from the uh, nurses and doctors in Iran.
Mm-hmm.
So and yeah, everything is possible because as I understood from the history, the most dictatorships and totalitarian regimes, they will fall down in a very like quickly
mm,
moment, in a second. So
Mm-hmm.
before before that everything seems like normal and they seem like very strong, but as soon when you see them very strong and not possible, it's the time that you will see they are falling down.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope I can, all of us, we can go back to the free Iran, because the only thing we want is that the Islamic regime take the Islamic regime out and rebuild our country, a beautiful democrat secular country. This is my
Mm,
dream for Iran.
that's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. I love that. Are there any ways that our listeners can support you in your work or even just get involved, even educate themselves? Do you have any advice for our listeners on how to kind of support
Of
you and
course,
be involved in this?
of course, there is many things that, because you know the Islamic regime, the biggest mistake we can do is to realize our enemy uh, weak.
Mm,
No, this is the fact that Islamic regime is very active. So there is a huge fake opposition in Europe and in the West from the Islamic regime who give the people wrong advice, and like even since few years before ago they were talking about reforms. So but now we see that the it's not possible to make a reform in Islamic regime because
mhm,
this is the nature of this regime. So the biggest advice is to listen what the Iranian people want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people, they, I would say not the normal people, because of course social media and media has very huge impact on the people,
Mm-hmm.
but I think enough is enough. So now is the time that all the world, all the people, politicians, governments, they realize, they hear to the Iranian voice and they see what we want. We don't want this regime anymore, and it's the time we, you know, we have, in my opinion, because I'm on the side by our crown prince, exiled crown prince, because I believe the Islamic regime was a mistake. The
mm,
Islamic revolution was a mistake, so it was not a revolution. And we did a mistake and we regret. So he always say that we don't want you to do it for us. We don't want you to donate or be in charge for that.
Yeah.
The only thing we want is to maximum support for the Iranian people and maximum
Yes.
pressure on the Islamic regime.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things, especially for our listeners who aren't like educated or don't know as much about the Islamic regime in Iran and the history behind it, I think is just educating
True.
themselves
Exactly.
and not just on social media, but doing a vast extent, like look into the background of everything to get multiple different perspectives too, because obviously social media pushes whatever
True.
social media wants to push. And I think just anybody who's wanting to support you and advocate for what you're doing, just to educate yourselves a little bit more.
Of course, because I talk to many people, specific the last generations. When I say I'm from Iran, immediately they say, "Oh yeah, before revolution it was very beautiful place. Still is a beautiful place, but just occupied by Islamic regime." And they say, "Yeah, yeah, you had a very amazing country, an amazing king. So we call it Shah, and he was really uh, made Iran great." And he was educated like more than 30,000 students, sent them all around the world. And for me, it's very nice that the old people, the last generation, they can realize everything and still they can remember. And when I think that, okay, the next generation, they don't have this memory and this kind of things in head from what Iran was and what Iran
Mm-hmm.
could be, because they see everything what it is at the moment. So
Yeah.
I'm a little bit afraid of this, if we cannot make it, and then the only background and mentality about Iran is Islamic regime and stay in the war. So
Yeah.
we don't want it. We have to finish it somehow,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Kasra, we like to finish off our portion of our like major question section for the podcast with one question we ask every guest. So, this question is, do you have advice for our listeners regarding using their dreams and giftings to share love and light and make the world a better place?
Yeah. Uh, always I tell myself, and I do it actually. When we are here, it is because, of course, dedication and working very hard, but because of help, because of support from different people. If I am here at the moment competing at the Olympic Games or already competed at the Olympic Games, because of many people who was on my side. And when we realize that, we also realize that it's a time to help others. I think without that, the world getting worse and worse.
Mm.
So the only advice I wouldn't say advice, the only feeling from myself is to never give up, always follow your dreams, because I believe when we follow our dreams will show the way. And also we are here in any position because of help and support, and it's a time to support others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And your story is super powerful to not make excuses, to not
Yeah.
reach your dreams too.
Yeah, I did everything in all the time.
Yeah. So, so for any listeners out there who are making excuses not to do the thing that you want to do, you have no excuses.
No, at all, not at all.
Go
No,
out and do it.
no way.
Yes, that's so
Yeah.
good.
All
Yeah.
right, we're at our lightning round. So for our lightning round, they're very quick answers, about 30 seconds each. And our first question is, who is more skilled in Taekwondo, you or your wife? Drum roll.
And we're not talking about straight strength. We're talking about skill.
Uh, my wife.
Oh, that's a great answer. I was like, she's not here to fight you on
We
it,
hear it
so
later. I don't want to be in trouble.
you don't want that beef.
I love it. Okay, next question. What is the best food you ate in the Olympic Village? Was it the chocolate chip muffins?
Uh, yeah, that was one of it, but it was uh, it was the egg sandwich mixed with cheese, so
Oh,
was very nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Breakfast. Love it.
Yeah, I could eat all the time, not only for breakfast.
All right. Third question. What is the most intense match you have ever been a part of?
uh, of course, the second match at the Olympics.
Can you elaborate a little bit? I know I said 30 seconds,
Yeah.
but I'm like, I need more of an answer.
I know.
Because uh, yeah, the second match was my opponent was the former Olympic and world champion from Ivory Coast. He's a great athlete, and I was very excited to compete. And I really wanted to enjoy to fight like with this opponent. Was intense. He was very good, and I was enjoying every moment, and I could learn many things from that fight. But yeah, because the atmosphere of the Olympics made it
Yeah.
more unique.
Andy
Yeah.
was a whole weight class ahead of like up or more than you, so
Yeah,
that had to be intense.
that's true.
For sure. For sure. Okay, last lightning round question is what do you do in your free time that's not sports related?
Many things. I spend time with my wife, but if you ask what I do for like myself, like specific for my soul, I read a lot. Let me show
Yeah, let's see. Got any recommendations?
you.
Ooh, what's this one? It looks like it's in
It's
Farsi.
about history. Yes, it's my language. I read a lot about history, philosophy, and politics.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. I love that. I love that.
That seems aligned.
Yeah.
That tracks. That tracks.
True, yeah.
That's great.
I love coffee. So when I have time, for sure I have to
When
make
you
some
have
coffee.
time, that's key.
Even when I don't have time, coffee is one of the most important thing in my life.
Yes, coffee and sport. Those are like the universal
sport.
unifiers, really. Like
Maybe I get tired because of the sport sometimes, but for coffee not. Never.
yes, yes. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, so good. Kasra, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. Your story is so powerful. You are a powerhouse. I can't wait to meet Parisa because she's amazing. We got to get her on the pod too. But yeah, thank you again for your time. For our listeners out there, we're gonna link all of Kasra's social media accounts and profiles for you to be able to follow along his journey as well and to support him.
Great. Thanks
But
for
yeah,
having me once again. Thank you.